Millions of Americans bracing for a reduction of their food assistance benefits are not going to see cuts as large as they initially expected. The USDA is revising its guidance for SNAP recipients. They will now receive still a huge cut, 35% of their monthly SNAP allotment. That gives them more than 50% reduction, or I should say it was a 50% reduction that was initially announced and expected. So this is a little less than that. The USDA is issuing only partial benefits this month to comply with the court order amid the government shutdown. CNN's Renee Marsh is here with more on this. Renee, people are receiving partial payments, even though this isn't quite as bad. It's still not going to be enough.
Absolutely. And, you know, I just spent some time in West Virginia. I spoke with one mom, and I specifically asked her about these partial payments, and her words were, it's laughable. She'll still have to scrape by, ration out food just to make it through the month of November. Now, this USDA change in how much it's dispersing to states this month came shortly after a left-leaning think tank published an analysis arguing that the USDA was cutting benefits more deeply than they needed to. And the analysis said that based on the USDA's original proposal of a 50% cutback in SNAP benefits this month, that would mean roughly 5 million people who rely on food stamps would not receive any benefits this month. And that's simply because the reduction that the USDA was proposing was much larger than the usual amount that those people get. But just when people will start to receive these partial payments, it really, Brianna, depends on where they live. States have to now reconfigure their systems to make sure that they can make those reduced payments. That could take some states that use older technology weeks or even months. According to a USDA official, we know that in North Carolina and Massachusetts, people who rely on food stamps should receive their benefits next week. That's according to those states' websites. Pennsylvania, in a letter to USDA, said that the agency has chosen, quote, the most complex and labor-intensive approach possible to issue partial payments. And they said that the process will require 10,000 hours and about 3 weeks to process partial payments. Just to recap, SNAP payments ran out due to the government shutdown, and 2 federal judges said that the agency had to use these contingency funds. In just about an hour from now, we're expecting another hearing on this case. This federal judge in Rhode Island is going to decide whether he will force the agency to pay full benefits for the month of November. So we'll be watching that, Brianna.
Joel Berg, he is the CEO of Hunger Free America. All right, Joel, does that change in November SNAP benefits? Still significantly below the normal monthly amount that families would get. How big of a difference is that going to make for folks who are waiting on the funds?
It will help a little, but the most important thing is the delay. The other day, USDA said this could take weeks or months to get people the food. I know no one in the Trump administration, frankly, has had to wait an hour in their life to get food when they were hungry, saying that 42 million Americans, most of whom are working people, children, seniors, people with disabilities, active duty military and veterans, have to wait weeks or months is just so unacceptable. Food delayed is food denied. You can't eat an IOU. Our hunger hotline, we've seen calls double over the last week. We are on the edge of the greatest hunger crisis since the Great Depression. They don't need to act in weeks or months. They need to do it today.
It's such a good point. Your organization runs the National Hunger Hotline, and you get these calls. You refer Americans to places where they can find free food. Tell us about what you're hearing from people who are calling in.
I should say the hotline is 1-866-3-HUNGRY. It is free, and we will not only refer you to soup kitchens and food pantries and food banks, but there are still some government programs that are still operational. The WIC program for pregnant women and children under 5. School lunches, a lot of people know about it, but many parents don't know their schools have school breakfast for their kids. So we're hearing from people, they're panicked. They're rightfully panicked. Propel, a private company that helps people access their SNAP accounts, they just did a survey of SNAP participants nationwide, and they found that 71% already don't have enough food or money to meet their basic expenses. So we're in a crisis, and groups like ours can do more to help and connect people with resources. And we hope people who can afford to do so go to hungerfreeamerica.org and donate. But you can also find out on our website how you can access that food. And also, we think most importantly, advocate to get, frankly, the president and Republicans in Congress to end this shutdown. Because even if we temporarily get people November benefits, unless we fix this soon, people will be denied December benefits. And there's no question contingency funds don't exist to make those December benefits.
And I know you look at the president and Republicans, and polls show that a lot of Americans blame them for this shutdown too. But when we talk to SNAP recipients, they're oftentimes not discriminating between the two parties. I mean, you said they can't eat an IOU. They also can't really eat political blame, right? And so I do wonder, Democrats, they do have a say in this, right? They're at the table. They're having discussions. How should they
not
be
at the table?
Well, there are discussions going on in the House and Senate, bipartisan discussions as we understand it. So we're trying to see if that's going to go somewhere. But how should they be thinking about SNAP benefits and the posture of Republicans and the president and how they're approaching that?
Well, there may be some back channel discussions, but the fact of the matter is, Majority Leader Schumer and Leader Jeffries have asked for a meeting with the White House, and the president's refused. He's spending more time having Great Gatsby-like parties at Mar-a-Lago. And the fact of the matter is, the House of Representatives, due to the Republican majority, isn't even in session. And a lot of low-income people, Americans depend on SNAP, don't understand that this fight is also about health care. The tens of millions of Americans face possibly thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars more in health care premiums if this issue isn't fixed. And if you have to spend that much more on health care, you're going to have that much money less for food. So the health care fight is a hunger fight. And certainly we need to keep the pressure on to end this immediately. Any responsible party that's in charge negotiates in the Senate to get the 60 votes they need. They've had a year to know this crisis was happening, and they haven't acted. The president even boasted the other day, threatened to defy 2 federal court orders. So it's pretty clear which side's responsible for this. And low-income Americans need to understand. I think a lot of them do. A lot of them, frankly, voted based on their understanding on Tuesday that one side was responsible for this. Now, Hunger Free America is a nonpartisan organization. We don't take sides. We criticize Democrats when we don't think they're doing the right thing. But I think it's pretty clear the way to end the shutdown is for the Republicans to actually have a true negotiating table with the president and the congressional leadership at the table and ending this, and also complying with the federal court orders, regardless of whether the shutdown's ended, to get complete SNAP benefits to the 42 million Americans nationwide that need it. And it's not just people, it's 260,000 retailers, big box stores, corner stores, bodegas, farmers markets. Some of them may have to start laying off staff because they don't have that income. So this is a great economic crisis and a human crisis. And again, the people we deal with are in a rightful panic. They're already rationing food. They're already skipping meals. We're the richest country in the history of the world. And so this is so thoroughly unacceptable.
Yeah, and as you draw that connection between healthcare and food, it is so important. If we learn nothing this week, it is about affordability being on the mind of Americans. Joel Berg, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.